Hello and welcome to Gwent. So there was a topic on Reddit recently about weather, how it's fine now, not oppressive anymore, and we have enough counters. And I would definitely agree that we have enough counters to make sure that a weather meta will never happen. But I would like the possibility of a weather deck to be tier 1. And currently I don't see that being a case. Especially if the players are adjusting well enough. Because Clear Sky is just, frankly, too easy to include in your deck. Because this is a play a random bronze unit from your deck. And the change was big, because before the change, let's just say in an ideal scenario you play the Ragnarok. And let's just say you did like 2 damage to 3 units. And I do consider the average value of the bronzes to be 11, silver 14, and gold 17. So basically you do like 6 damage, then your opponent like just answers the first light, and that's about like break even. That's break even. So, but if your opponent chose to play on like 2 rows instead, or maybe had some armor on, like again, you're just like some play around the Ragnarok. And if and when he plays the first light, he will actually gain value out of it. That was a slightly advantageous trade for him. But if you play a Ragnarok and it doesn't get answered in any way, oh baby, let's win the game. Because you're gonna win the game back of that card. Because I just imagine it, like in like 10 turns, it's like 60 value. In 5 turns, it's 30. It's even that is like, hey, I win the game. Even in 5 turns. If it's just up for 5 turns, that's probably gonna be game. And in 3 turns, it's gotta be worth it. You just, on the turn, you do it like 6, 12, 18. So it generates a lot of value. But with the Clear Sky changes, like first of all, well, running Weather is a bit of a gamble. Because the Clear Sky change is pretty massive. Boost all damaged allies under Weather by 1 and clear all Weather from your side. So every single ally that's damaged gets boosted by 1. So if you play Ragnarok, even in an ideal scenario, and your opponent has a Clear Sky that he can just include for free, you get shut down. You get shut down super easily, and that was a bad trade for you. Possibly he will even get, he will end up in an advantageous position, because this basically means that if you play a Ragnarok on him, then his entire board will get boosted up, or every single weakened unit will get boosted by 1. And that could easily just like give him like, I don't know, 7, 8 power. But even if he gets like any power, it's a good trade for him. It would only be worthless if everything died. But of course, if you don't do damage with the Ragnarok, then again, you're wasting value. Because if you just like play Ragnarok on 1 unit and your opponent clears it, that was a bad trade for you again. And while I do agree that these spells need to be toned down in a way, but running them like this is just a massive gamble, and it's never gonna happen, in my opinion. And it's only gonna happen if the meta is dominated by decks that don't wanna run first light. For example, Dagon doesn't wanna run first light because he has like Harpies on it, or like Morven doesn't wanna run first light because he has like bunch of crap, like bunch of like bronze units that you don't want to rally out by itself, because it should be a bronze unit that just comes out by itself. Or maybe you just wanna, my point is, you don't wanna play it from your hand. Either you just wanna make something else play it, or just somehow use it up. And Clear Skies doesn't care about those units. And I'm not really sure what should be the solution, because fair enough, like you could say that weather is more situational now, but the way I see it, it's gonna be more in the situation of Graveyard Skellige. However, Graveyard Skellige, like, is really the perfect example, because Graveyard Skellige can be super strong if you're running up against someone who just has no way to affect your graveyard or affect your units, like transform them. But that becomes less and less likely. because there are so many and so easy to include counters out there that you put in your deck, not because you want to counter Graveyard Skellige, but you just have it in your deck anyway, because, hey, they are good cards. And Graveyard Skellige just gets utterly destroyed by them by accident. First Light is not exactly a card like this, but it's a pretty good card. It thins your deck by 1 bronze, and I definitely like running it. I many times I just like put in like 2, 3 in my deck, and that means that just okay, because you also prepare for weather, but also like if it doesn't work out, you just get out the bronze, and that's 100% fine. And also it could also improve your deck, also improve your draws for the following turns, or maybe when you actually force yourself a card draw. And this is like, it has no well, it only has a cost with decks that don't want to get out some random bronzes. But for other decks, most decks, this is just a free card to include. And I do like that the weather, single row weather counters are very formidable now. Like we see that this is a 9 that clears the weather. This is very, very strong. And if you're just like, undoubtedly, any kind of weather your opponent plays, this is why Skellige Storm is a bit risky to run. But the reason why Skellige Storm is still okay to run, because unless a lot of people are running Skellige Storm, you're probably not gonna run into a lot of Nausicaa Standard Bearers or any other weather counters out there. The Nausicaa Standard Bearer is the easiest solution, easiest example here, because it's basically a 9. Everything else is just like more like move stuff or just like take out stuff. But like, yeah, this is a 9. This is a 9 and shuts down the weather. And it works fine. And the weather is something that didn't get buffed anyway in the when the bronzes got buffed. If anything, they went down. The Ragnarok, justifiably so, went from 3 to 2. Skellige Storm went from I believe 3 to 1 to, or maybe 2 to 1. But it definitely lost at least 1 point. White Frost stayed the same. And in my opinion, one of the better weathers out there. But still, this is something that you, again, play. You do 4 damage. Your opponent uses Clear Sky. And at most you did like 2 damage. And you traded a silver for a bronze. But if your opponent has more units on the row that can get boosted up, more wounded units on the row, then you can easily give him a buff. And that's not really reliable. So it's just really hard to include. And again, Skellige Storm is like become a card that you only want to run in X-Men deck. I don't think you would take the chance of running this card in anything else, but this is just the X-Men deck. Just to hit them 3 times, that really works well with the X-Men. They might as well make it a Skellige card because I don't see anyone else using it. Torrential Rain and Fog are actually more at mercy of First Light, because Impenetrable Fog could end up hitting like more units because it just hits units, then hits other units. Frost is more about finishing people off, and Rain just like goes ham, just hits everybody. Again, good with the X-Men, but pretty abysmal against First Light. So if your opponent might just wait with it and just like shut it down. You might just establish a bunch of Rain, but it doesn't matter because your opponent's like, hey, what's up? Clear Sky for 10? What now? So that sucks. I'm just saying that running weathers is a massive gamble. You can get away with like single row weathers. That's the most likely you can get away with, because most opponents probably not gonna run single row weather counters in this not really weather meta. But of course you can. The main thing that really makes weather still an option, in my opinion, is that some factions, some deck archetypes are playing it too greedy, and they just cannot put in the First Light. But if you ever got to the point where like people are just like, hey, what's up? I put in 2 first light. Well, I don't know. Like the best vetter we're probably gonna see is like Dagon with a Woodland Spirit. And I would like to see it to be better, to be more relevant than that. And again, your opponents just have first light in their deck. They are not looking to shut you down. They might just like, have it as a just in case. But also if they like, it's like, yeah, I'm playing a random bronze, that's fine too. And yeah, I suppose it can give you like extra value in certain decks as well. But it doesn't really matter, like, you know, Elven Mercenary into Rally plus Spell Synergy, like, something like that, but like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying that First Light doesn't have a cost. I think it's a fine card. I think I would like to have it as a card like this. I think it's a fine card to have. It's strong, it shuts down multi-row weather, but I'm not so sure it should like play a random bronze. Like it should have like a plan B that's not that. Because like if that's the plan B, then like everyone will have it and some decks won't be able to include it because, you know, they're just running some bunch of garbage. I don't think I really need to go into it, like, I don't know. Monsters. I think maybe the best example is like this one, like Harpy. Like, if you're running a Dagon Beast deck, then you might put in a first light, but... And again, you're putting in the first light, but you don't know if you're just gonna run into Vetter all the time. And then you're gonna rally into Harpy. That's gonna be soul crushing. So, I agree. Vetter should have strong counters, but those counters shouldn't be something that you just end up running and just running into, in my opinion. And I do like first like this, but maybe make the secondary effect, I don't even know, spawn a 7-strength ghoul or spawn a 8-strength ghoul, something like that. I know that's a boring one, but just my point is, it really shouldn't be a card that synergizes with your own deck and you just like thin your own deck. So there should be a cost to including first light, in my opinion. And you should only have first light in your deck if you're just like, hey, am I dealing with some... And I think it's about time to get rid of Rally from this card. I don't even know how it should be. Like boost, like, I don't know. I'm saying that it should have a secondary effect that's not play a bronze, in my opinion. Because Rally is a bit outdated now. Rally used to be a thing because like, hey, this card used to kind of like suck. And we just like, it was like a Rally on top, just to make it like okay. Because of course, if this was just a Rally, then it would be just a clear sky. It would probably not see use. And that would be too weak. But like, I wouldn't mind just making this even stronger. Like, just make it like a Vetter counter card. And you would only have it as Vetter counter. But, I don't know. I'm just saying that the plan B is too strong. So anyway guys, that's it. Tell me what you think and see you next time.